Assalamu alaikum, hello, and
Waalaikum
welcome to the News and Culture Show with me, Laura Conda, and my co-host, Paul Cooper.
Assalamu alaikum, folks.
So a little bit about the News and Culture Show. We talk about all the latest news from across Luton, as well as arts, culture, and events. So you can go out and have some fun in this amazing town. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I still keep feeling under the weather, but I finished work on Friday this week.
So. I was going to say it's nearly school holiday time. Yeah. For me, that's not so good. Not a big fan of the school holidays as a parent, but it could be worse. It could have been COVID again. Oh, that was hell.
Why doesn't it affect me anymore? Mine are in their 20s now. So.
Yeah. But I fear that I'm also still unwell. So there's definitely something going around. Don't know what it is, but it's
you sort of get over one thing and then you start feeling poorly with something else.
It's constant.
Yeah.
So we'll start with this one. So obviously, I think most people that watch this show or are from Luton will know about the case of Adam Khan. Yeah. He was killed on the he was killed on the 31st of August on an incident at Humberstone Road in Luton. Obviously, the defendants who have been arrested in relation to this trial and charged have not been, their Crown Court case has not been heard yet, so they are still innocent until proven guilty in the eyes of law. But the issue is their trial is set to take place 100 miles away in Canterbury in Kent. So originally this...
And the difficulty is with Canterbury, it's not like if you would drive and say 100 miles up the M1, which isn't
it's not too bad
to get all the way either through London or around London.
You've got to go through the Dartford Tunnel as well, over the QE2 bridge. Honestly,
it's really difficult to get there.
It is a really hard place to get to. So originally, this trial went to Luton Crown Court. It was the preliminary hearing was heard in front of Judge Michael Simmons at Luton Crown Court in September. Then the case was moved to Norwich Crown Court, which is also about 100 miles away from Luton. And that was then postponed.
That's where I'm originally from.
I know, it's where you're originally from. It's now, the latest hearing that took place on the 4th of December. So it wasn't that, it was only this month. It took place in Southwark, in London. Southwark.
What's the matter with
Southwark?
Southwark,
all right then.
I suppose you say Fenwicks instead of Phoenix.
I don't even know where that is.
Oh,
it's in Norfolk, isn't it?
No, Phoenix. It's a big department store in Brent Cross.
Oh, that one. I'm not. It's Fenwicks, isn't it?
No, it's Phoenix.
Okay, Southwark. Anyway.
Southwark.
Anyway, the latest trial and the latest hearing took place in Southwark. Currently in Southwark, they're also overseeing cases from Harrow Crown Court, which is in northwest London, because Harrow Crown Court is currently closed because they found rack, which you're aware of because they're finding it in schools. They found rack in the building, which means it's potentially dangerous. So it's now been closed. So they're Southwark are now taking the cases.
Reinforced aerated concrete, if you're wondering, folks.
So at the latest case, the Judge Lodge, who was oversaw, it's kind of like the trial preparation stuff, he said at Southwark Crown Court, is Canterbury a ludicrous place for this trial to take place? Absolutely. And I completely agree with him.
So why can't they just get the senior judge to move?
So
is that rocket science?
It isn't rocket science. However, this is not all right. People probably assume
it must be because they can't do it.
It is rocket science, apparently. People think this is to do with the Crown Court backlog, which has been a massive. It was a big problem even before COVID. COVID made it 10 times worse. Yeah. So at least 2 Crown Courts in the east of England have moved cases as well. So cases that are supposed to be at Ipswich or St Albans Crown Court have been moved to Cambridge now. But yeah, essentially this needs to be overseen by a higher court judge, a high court judge, basically.
I've got to say this. Is there anything in our British system that actually works anymore?
No, COVID apparently just ruined everything for everyone. It completely threw everything off, apparently.
No, but what I'm saying is we've so we're here talking about the legal system. I mean, we've got situations now. We've got doctors that have just about to go on strike.
Yep.
We've had in the last year the lawyers go on strike if you want to get legal aid.
Yep, that's
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not disputing.
I'm in my late 50s. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. The lawyers going on strike in the last 12 months, that is the first time
it's unprecedented.
that ever happened in my lifetime.
They'd love to hear that word. It is unprecedented.
It is literally, but it really is. That has never happened in my lifetime, and I'm 58. So I've got a really good. I mean, is there anything that is not broken?
Currently, I actually don't know, because even you were presenting Friday Night Live on Friday. You were speaking about driving tests. That's a broken system at the minute. Many people can't get a driving test, or if they do want a driving test, they've got to pay hundreds of pounds to get said tests. So I think the biggest issue, this is a big issue now, because I wanted to go and watch this case happen. I wanted to be able to report on it properly. I now can't, because I can't go to Canterbury. I don't know how long this case is going to be. Something like this will take at least a few days, 3 or 4 days, I'd imagine, if not longer, depending on the trial. It doesn't say in this how long the case is planned for at Canterbury Crown Court. Obviously, I don't know if once the trial has taken place at Canterbury, obviously sentencing will happen later. Will it happen at Canterbury? Will it happen at Luton? Will it happen in Norwich? Who knows? The southeast of England has had massive problem at the minute when it comes to courts. It's just as bad elsewhere in the UK, but the east of England is really, really trying to tackle this. The Labour government has announced reforms to tackle the delays, including the most ridiculous suggestion ever to scrap jury trials for some cases.
I must say, I find that very, very.
I find that very disturbing. The whole point is that seems very American.
It's interesting as well, because I was listening to an assessment on that, and they said that, and they will often go on about juries don't pay attention and so forth, but the conviction rate with judges is much higher, so it makes you think. The whole principle of reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So it really made me think: are juries? And this is perhaps why we really should be quite concerned about this. Clearly, the jury system, the people taking that on as a new person, they clearly seem to be taking it serious and thinking, okay, well, that doesn't look convincing enough to me, so I've got doubt. Whereas,
I think the judges are tainted almost, because this is what they deal with day to day. So
it's just a matter of the fact rather than
as opposed to someone thinking about it, this is new to them, it's illogical, it's not something they've dealt with before, and they're therefore thinking in a different way. I don't know. I am quite worried about this whole scrapping of jury trials. That's in itself is an issue that we could go on for ages about. But I mean, this,
because basically it doesn't. The thing is, since you brought it up, I'm going to put my
please
opinion
do.
in. You've essentially got the situation, albeit a very, very highly qualified person with respect to the legal system, the judge, but that's one person's opinion as opposed to 12.
Yeah. And judges do have very stern opinions as well. And, we've seen it in cases where people have got perhaps sentences that are quite unduly harsh, which have meant that sentences eventually do get changed. But I think for me, the biggest thing about this whole scenario is the fact that, Adam's family now have to travel to Canterbury for this trial. It's obviously been a really incredibly difficult time for them anyway, but to just go and see the trial, they're going to have to go all the way to Canterbury, which is a far away place. It's a big distance, and it's completely unfair. And I think this might need to be rethought, and I hope that it does. Things change, because judges get moved all the time. That's the issue, is that that High Court judges that were at Luton Crown Court have now been moved elsewhere in the southeast, because they always are constantly moving around, and they obviously don't have anyone that's suitable at the minute to take on those trials at Luton Crown Court. But I mean, that should be sorted. Let the local people as well, because the jury will be a selection from Kent too, if you think about it as well. It'll be very odd, but Well, let's see what happens with that. We'll keep you updated with that one. Obviously, that's going to be a case that probably a lot of people are going to want us to cover anyway. So we will try to do our best with that one. But on to
the Arndale,
the most controversial.
The shopping centre that is still the out to every Lutonian. Right, guys. Although
he's not even from Luton, and he still feels.
Although I'm an import, okay, my children have lived here. I mean, they're in their 20s now, so they're Lutonians, right? I came to live here in 1999, and it was the Arndale, and they keep changing the name. I don't care what you're going to change the name to. I think
it's even worse.
It is. It has been, and it always will be.
The Arndale.
The Arndale, right? You people. It's that man who runs the sports.
It's Mike. Company. It's Mike Ashley.
That's the sports company.
Yeah, he owns Sports Direct.
Mr. Ashley, please just listen to us, okay? Right? Because we do like coming into your shopping centre. We actually really do, okay? But it's the Arndale, okay? You know, our children have grown up here. We call it the Arndale. It is the Arndale. Please just call it the Arndale again, please.
Anyway, even worse, they're going to call it Fraser Plus Luton. So Fraser Plus.
I did say please. I did ask nicely.
You did ask nicely. I don't think
at least we've got a chance.
The man's not going to listen probably. No offense, Mike Ashley.
Fraser Plus. What's that got to do?
Fraser Plus is essentially you remember Houses of Fraser?
Well, yeah, I mentioned Phoenix earlier. I think that is Fraser, isn't it?
No, Houses of Fraser is a different department store that's gone. But basically,
it's gone, is it?
It's not entirely gone there. I think there is one.
Phoenix was part of that.
No. I think there was. There is still one in Milton Keynes that does stuff, but it's not. It's very small compared to.
My wife doesn't look at this because if I got this wrong, because she knows all.
Yeah, she will be.
Yeah,
but yeah, Mike Ashley essentially bought House of Fraser when it went under. Fraser Plus is their essential catalogue version. You remember Little Woods?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a bit like a Little Woods now, Fraser Plus. It's equivalent to that, essentially.
There was nothing wrong with Little Woods.
There was nothing. I'm not disputing there was nothing wrong with Little Woods.
That's gone now, isn't it?
That's gone. That went many, many years ago, Paul.
Yeah. That's
where Primark is now. That's how I remember that. I remember going into Little Woods. Jesus, I feel old now. I'm making myself feel old. Anyway.
Is that where Little Woods was?
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember it quite vividly in the 90s.
Shows how well I pay attention.
Yeah, it does. It does. Again, if your wife was here, she'd be telling you off. But yeah, the art. So,
I know this sounds bad, but I still miss the Disney store. I do enjoy going in
the
there.
Disney store was good.
I haven't got it. But when I actually bought it when I mentioned like going in there and buying the little teddies and stuff.
I'm trying to think where that was, but yeah, I remembered now.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
That was a nice shop.
That was a good shop. Anyway, so the centre opened as the Arndale Centre, or the Arndale, in 1972. It was renamed the Mall Luton in 2006, and then became a Luton Point in July 2024. The Fraser Group have,
and throughout that, the whole town
called it the Arndale.
We've still continued. What was that man's name again?
Mike Ashley.
Mr. Ashley. We've all continued to call it the Arndale. So you might call it. What was it?
Fraser Plus Luton.
You might call it Fraser Plus, but we're all still going to call it the Arndale because that's what it is.
I was at we're going to get onto that subject. It's about
they'll probably bar me from going in there now.
No, because we there was a joke made last night. I was at a Luton Borough Council thing that we're going to talk about next, and someone made a joke about whatever Mike Ashley's calling it this week.
Oh,
it was quite fun. It was quite funny. It was quite a funny moment. But yeah, the problem is the Fraser Group have said. Sorry, I should add this.
I bet he's not been here or met anyone living here.
I have no idea. I couldn't comment on that. Fraser Group remains.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Fraser Group remains committed to investing in Fraser Plus Luton. I can't even say it.
Frasers Plus Luton.
Frasers Plus Luton.
And is that what it's going to call? Frasers Plus.
Yes, Luton. Yeah, awful name. Awful. You want to know Mike Ashley? My thoughts? It's a awful name. I nearly swore then. It's an awful name. It is terrible. It might be even worse than the Mall Luton. Dare I say it? It might be worse than Luton Point. In fact, it is. It's terrible. Anyway, and the Luton community, ensuring a vibrant, welcoming retail destination for all. whatever. Lies. Just call it the Arndale and be done with it. But yeah, even Jack Wiltshire, who's currently the Luton Town Football Club manager.
It's got a bit of value though. He bought it 2 years ago, 58 million.
Yeah.
It's worth that much.
Well, it's because basically the Moore Group who owned it previously went under.
Oh.
And so it was the man loves an easy pickings, doesn't he? That man loves to buy up failing businesses. But yeah, I mean, like, we can diss the Arndale as much as we want.
Well, the Arndale wasn't failing. It's always busy.
But yeah, like you said, it's always busy. It's never failing. It's always busy. Well, compared to other retail, like compared to other shopping centres, you go to elsewhere in this region.
Well, because literally it is the whole town centre. That's what people don't realise. With Luton, there isn't really anything outside.
I'd say there's a little bit on George Street. A little bit on George Street.
Negligible.
Negligible.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you talk, right, let's be honest. If you talk about town, we all know what we're talking about.
We're talking about, and St George's Square.
Now, if you talk about town,
yeah, you talk about the Arndale. Yeah,
the town means Arndale.
Yeah,
we that's what we all know. It just is.
Well,
so that's why it's so successful, because it literally is the town.
Luton Borough Council would disagree with you, and we're going to talk about that now. So, Luton Borough Council are about to invest 1.7 billion in the transformation plans for Luton, which they unveiled at public.
So maybe then in the future, with 1.7 billion injection, we won't just be talking about the Arndale.
Well, this is
the town centre.
This is
Right, go on. You need to go into detail.
I need to go. I went to the meeting last night.
I didn't go. So go on.
I went to the meeting last night. Essentially, the plan is. Hang on. I need the booklet because it's quite an extensive plan.
Yeah, hold it up.
Hold it up. I got a lovely booklet last night. Thank you, Luton Borough Council, for your very generous gift.
In fairness, guys, this does sound really quite exciting.
So they've got lots of different things. They're going to upcycle what already exists. So they're going to recognise the importance of heritage assets that we already have. They're restitching up Luton Town Centre because the issue is that before, so basically before
we're coming apart at the seams.
No, yeah, pretty much. Before the Arndale exists,
guys, I can't say this. Look, I don't know if the camera's picking up, but they
literally
say that they're restitching.
They're restitching the town centre.
We've come apart at the seams.
We have come apart at the seams, but anyway.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, it's getting excited. Yeah. So basically, before the Arndale existed, you used to be able to walk from all the way through from like Manchester Street to Bute Street, but obviously the Arndale was put in the middle of that, so it's kind of stopped that. It's kind of a midway thing, so that's what they're trying to do, is restitch it up so that it feels less definitive. Like,
so they're going to stop the buses going up past the church then?
I couldn't really understand that. They are going to sort out that,
because if you want a continuous,
they are going to fix that area.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, they are going to make it more.
If you want to make it, you'd have to stop the buses going up that way, wouldn't you?
When they say they're going to restitch the centre and knit the centre back into the town.
Oh.
Make that make sense. Introducing greater range of activities and opening up the River Lee, which is their biggest thing. So in all fairness, I asked the question last night because it was a Q&A bit, and I said, what are you going to do about the negative parts of the town that we all know about? The drugs, the begging, the homelessness, that we now get lots of YouTubers who come here and are like, oh, look at Luton, like it's a zoo, like we're some sort of pantomime that we can get clickbaits for.
It's a simple solution. If you want to stop the drug paraphernalia and the addicts walking up and down the place and the begging, you need a police security presence.
You do.
It's quite simple.
Well, that is part of their plan. This is going to be introduced in the next year. They're going to have public health out, doing drugs and alcohol outreach. They're also going to have a begging communications campaign by Luton Borough Communications team. But yeah, they've got the station hat district's going to be changed. The state Luton, we're going to be talking about this afterwards very quickly, probably because it's quite not got a lot of time to talk this through. But essentially, Luton train station is having an overhaul. It's going to be accessible from 2027. That starts next February. The town centre train station.
Talking about that for quite a long time.
They've been talking about it for years. They're going to do Hat District Plus. The stage is obviously being built. We've spoken about that before. They're trying to open up the Riverlea. Obviously, Church Street East is going to be part of where the university campus is in St Mary's Church. They're building a new healthcare hub. The Luton and Dunstable Hospital are going to be.
I think if they opened that bit up, perhaps if they thought about rerouting the bus there and
I think
the traffic, because it's pedestrianised outside, sort of up to that point, like you said, past where Macklin's used to be. Outside. And then going down to where now Cash Converters is. If they then open that up, continuing going down to the university,
well,
that would make it.
I don't think they're going to do that way. I don't know about. They weren't very clear. It's something that the pedestrianisation of Butte Street is a concept phase at the minute. They're deciding whether to do that, so we'll see. But yeah, Church Street is going to be getting a new healthcare hub. Which will be from the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, where you'll be able to have CT scans. It will be a lot of healthcare, gastrointestinal issues will be dealt with there.
Just a quick point, the red route is actually in on Dunstable Road now as you come past the post office.
I knew it was there.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's been there for years, in all fairness.
Has it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
that
double red.
Yeah, double red. Yeah, it's been there for years.
Oh gosh.
It's been there for years. Did you get a little ticket?
No, I just driving past.
I
was thinking about all the changes. Okay.
No, that's been there.
That's not new.
That's not new. It's been there for a few years. So that was their test pilot. They put it in town centre. So, like Wellington Street is double reds, so you can't pull over anywhere on it.
It stops just as you turn left on the road.
Yeah, just before you. Yeah, it does stop. But yeah, that's been there for a little while. So there's this new, obviously, Power Court is coming. That is due to be finished, inshallah, 2028. Which will be the new football ground. That's going to change things.
Have they actually broken ground
yet?
On the stadium?
So essentially, what they have to do currently, what they're doing is
they rerouted the Lee.
That's what they're doing. They're rerouting the Lee currently, finishing that up, and they also need to build a substation for it because obviously it's going to require a lot more power off the grid that they don't have currently. So they're building a substation at the minute, but they are basically within the next sort of like couple of months, we're going to see a lot of changes at Power Court site. We're going to see because they had someone from Luton Town Football Club and she said that they are going to be properly breaking ground and getting that up in starting in the next few months. It's a really good brochure. They've done a really good job on this.
I've got to say, actually, I'm looking at now if it's the stadium looks beautiful.
It does, and there is plans as well for
the Hatter Stadium looks beautiful.
There's going to be plans as well for a waterside square as well, where they've rerouted the River Lee. Yeah. George Street is going to be changed. They want to bring outdoor seating for restaurants. They want to make it basically, like in Italy and stuff, that you'll have like outdoor seating outside on the for a restaurant. They basically want to make it a more inviting area as opposed to what it is at the minute.
Oh, so you could go and get your German doner and sit down and
they're going to be building a pocket park as well. Library car park will be rebuilt. That is part of the plans to sort out library car park. They're also going to refurbish Luton Central Library as well. They're going to bring in EVs. They're going to hopefully reopen the River Lee in 3 areas around St George's Square.
You mean where you can actually sit around it and enjoy it?
Yeah, like the Hat Gardens that like there. So they're going to build more pocket parks like that. If this is pulled off,
it does sound very exciting.
It will. I think this will bring Luton Town Centre back massively. It's part of their 2040 vision, obviously. It sounds really exciting. There obviously has clearly been a phenomenal out of work from Luton Borough Council. Obviously, Councillor James Taylor will be coming on this show in the new year to talk about this more extensively. Obviously, I've just given a brief overview of that, but he will be talking about that. So stay tuned. He's going to be on our show on the 7th of January.
What's his name?
Javed Hussain?
No. The Fraser guy.
Mike Ashley.
Let's see if we can get him.
I'll email. I'll ask. But yeah, so obviously, as I've mentioned before, just quickly to run through this, Luton Rail train station from February 2026 is going to be having upgrades. It's part of the Access for All scheme that has been gone on. There's been campaigning for this for years, and I mean years. And it's not just from our two local MPs who have worked tirelessly to get this. So Rachel Hopkins MP, obviously James Taylor, councillor, who's part of the regeneration programme for Luton Town Centre. He's also a councillor for Hightown. He has been doing petitions for this. He's been desperately saying urgent improvements are needed. They think that the whole railway station needs to be rebuilt because it's ugly. It's ugly. It's disgusting. It's minging.
To be fair, I can't comment. I think last time I went on a train was before both my children were born, so we're going back to probably year 2000.
Wow. Okay, that's a very lot. Have you not been on a train at all? Like, even I've been on trains since then. I mean, admittedly, I didn't used to work in London.
I actually haven't.
Okay, fair.
My daughter has, because she went to university at what's it called? City University.
Oh, City of London, yeah.
Yeah, so she used to get the train down.
Yeah.
3 times a week for her lectures. But no, I haven't been on a train since before my daughter was born.
That train.
She's 23.
That train.
Sorry, she's 23. Yes, 23.
I hope your daughter does not watch
so
this.
Angry
fair play to. If you're angry with your father, I don't blame you.
No, she's used to it. She knows I got
terrible memory. Yeah. But anyway, February next year, we're going to start seeing those being National Rail starting those works. They're going to install lifts as well as a what's it called? A bridge to the train station. So they're going to be doing improvements on the bridge. They're going to be putting lifts in, and they're just going to really revamp the train station. This is only the first step, though. Rachel Hopkins has already met with the Rail Minister, Lord Hendy, to discuss future redevelopment. And obviously, Sarah Owens is still pushing for Leagrave train station to receive the same Access for All funding from the government. It was previously listed just before the general election in 2024. However, the previous Conservative government never released the funds, and so the upgrades have never taken place. And there's no kind of idea of if that's going to happen.
Before we move on,
we're not going to move on. We're going to be finishing this half, but yeah, you can go on.
Quickly. So this 1.7 billion.
Yes.
Where are the funds for this coming from?
It's coming from various different places. Most of it is not coming from tax money. A lot of this is coming from what's it called? What is the thing called? It's a government scheme. Oh. It's a government scheme about keeping things out of London.
They're not going to put up our council.
No, they're not putting up the council tax as a result of this. Do not worry. It's part of, I can't think of the word. Oh my God, this is going to drive me mad. But it's part of the government scheme, where they started giving funding outside of London because all the big things were happening in London, and a lot of communities were missing out on funding. That government department, they're getting funding under that. Basically, and it's a lot of regeneration. It's something like that. I can't remember. When I remember the word, I'll let you know. Okay. But as part of that, they're going to be a lot of central government funding. Some of these projects are not definite yet because they still need to go in for funding. Some of it is definite. Obviously, we'll have James Taylor on for a special on the 7th of January to talk further about that. But that's all for this half. I will see you after the break, though, where we're going to be speaking to Laura. She is a recipient of the Luton Arts Lightning Fund. We spoke to someone last week from that, but she's going to be talking all about her projects. It's really exciting audio project she's got coming up. But until then, Assalamu alaikum.
Get Luton prayer and Jamaat times for your local masjid on your phone. Download the Inspire FM app, available for free on the App Store or Google Play.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the News and Culture Show with me, Laura Conda, and my co-host Paul Cooper.
Assalamu alaikum.
A little bit about the News and Culture Show. We talk about all the latest news from across Luton, as well as arts, culture and events. You can go out and have some fun in this amazing town. So joining us now is another Laura. Another Laura, who's she's one of the Luton Arts Lightning Fund recipients. I said I was going to get some of them on to talk about their projects, and she's got a really exciting audio project that I'm going to let her talk a little bit about. So welcome, Laura.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
So I'll explain a little bit about the project I'm doing. So I am a gardener, but also an artist. So I'm hoping to combine the two to create some audio-based art. So the hope is that I'm going to be using the money to refresh my brain, because it's been a bit of time since I've created audio work, and then be working with some of the families that I work with. So I run kind of community gardens in Luton. So basically working with those families to create what I'm calling story gardens, which are basically trying to make the gardens come alive by using soundscaping or stories or memories. Yeah, so it's quite niche, but I hope that it will be sort of different, bring something different to the Luton art scene.
Yeah, it's very different. It is very different. Is this going to be in a place where the public can come and listen to it, or is it going to be in people's own gardens?
Well, the hope is that it will be public. So
Yeah.
I currently run a community garden project for families at a church in Limbury area.
Okay.
But the group's open to anyone, so anyone can come along, and we run it once a month. So I'm going to start with those families because I've been working with them now for about 2 years, and we're going to basically try and put some stuff in the space. So record some sounds together, maybe create some stories together, and then trial it in that space. And then, get other people down to listen. And then hopefully in the long run could maybe do a similar thing in different spaces. So that's the hope, really.
No, it sounds really exciting. What came first then, art or gardening for you?
I love the way I said gardening straight away. No, it was actually art. So I studied performing arts at university, and then I went on to do a master's at Central School of Speech and Drama. And that's where I found my love for kind of audio storytelling. So I created these walks, basically. They were a bit more like a play, but you listen to them through a headphone and then you'd walk through the space. And the idea was that it would create a sense of community in a space. So people would record their stories and then I would edit those in.
So then are you then sort of designing parts of the garden that change a little bit as the story changes?
I would love to do something like that, yeah.
Oh.
So when I did that, I wasn't doing any gardening. So that was something completely different. And then I moved. So I lived in London at that point. So I come from Luton, but I was living in London for about 10 years. And then I moved back to Luton and we had quite a large garden. And that's how I found gardening. So that was about 11 years ago. And I just started doing it as a hobby, really. And then I did do some formal gardening training. And then a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I decided to set up my business, which is called Young Growers Club. And that's where I work with children and young people and teach them how to grow food. And then from there, anyone I speak to will know, because I've been talking about this for about 3 years. I'm like, I have this dream where I'd love to combine the two and basically use my artistic practice and the gardening and bring them together. So my hope is that I could create gardens that have those elements combined. So we start from scratch. So maybe someone's like, oh, we want to create a garden here. And I'd go in and then we'd look at how we could involve sound within that and the community. So, so I hope that it will all come together to create this very quite niche art form.
I can't help smiling when you said a really big garden. I remember me and my wife, we went to look at a house on Limbury Road about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The house had been all modernized. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
It was really like the house. And it had an enormous garden. I said to my, wow, I said, Masha, look at that garden, it's so big. And she said, exactly, that's why we're not buying it. So I said, why was it that? She said, because you hate gardening. She said, that's going to become a jungle. And I just stopped. I said, yeah, you're probably
Do you know what?
right.
It's so true, actually.
We never went back and had a second look at that house. So
it's so very true. When we've got a really lovely garden, and at one point we were going to move, which we didn't end up doing, but someone actually said to us, the estate agent, they said people will either come into this house and absolutely love the garden, or they'll go, no, this is too much, this is too daunting. I think we're really lucky, but for some people, they're just going to go, that's another job that I have to do.
I feel that I don't have grass in my garden, thankfully, because I'm allergic. So I wouldn't actually be even able to cut the grass because it will kill me, quite literally. That bad. But yeah, I think used to love like getting involved with gardening when I was younger, but I haven't really done much anymore because, like, especially in my current place, it's literally just like astroturf.
Yeah, but
patio.
it's all allergic.
Yeah, it's so like hard because like now I'm like I can't even like do that kind of thing. So it's really sad that I can't get involved anymore. Do you want to talk a little bit about Young Growers Club then? Like, what is it? Yeah.
So I set up that business 3 years ago, and my aim was to basically teach children and families how to grow food. I was at the time I was I've got 2 young children, and I was teaching them to grow food. And I just felt like, I think all children have this opportunity. And like I said, we're quite lucky because we have a garden. But I know there's a lot of children across the country who don't have access to outdoor space. And being able to then have community garden space where I can go along and teach them and show them those skills. And often I speak to parents who want their children and themselves to be eating kind of fresh organic food, but they just don't know where to start. It was almost a bit like a lost skill, really. I'll often speak to families where they're like, oh, my grandparents' garden, and then kind of I'd say like my generation, people just don't know, but they want their children to be doing it. So that's kind of why I started it. And actually, from working with children, I then started working with families. So I run family courses. So like families come to me, I'm teaching the parents, but the children are kind of getting involved, and then they can go away and do it at home. And I also do like gardening workshops that are, on the windowsill, because there is quite a lot you can grow on a windowsill. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a garden. There's because I mainly focus on like food growing, but yes, there's loads you can grow. So that's basically my business. And actually it's lovely because I get to work in lots of different locations, meet lots of different families from lots of different backgrounds. And I'm hopeful that the art can really like work with it and create something quite unique.
That's really exciting. Is there a way, if people are hearing this and like, oh my God, I really want to get involved in this Young Growers Club, is there a way they can get involved in that? Yeah,
definitely. So I've got my website, which is www.younggrowersclub.co.uk, and then all my social media is exactly the same. So on Facebook and on Instagram and on TikTok, I'm Young Growers Club, so they can find me and just email me. And what I've got at the moment, so at the moment we're quiet because it's winter. And no one wants to be gardening in the winter, but I will be launching. So in the spring, I've been talking to home education families. So I'm going to be launching a group which is just for home educated children, and I'll have my community gardening club, which is free, so anyone can come, families. And then I'm hopeful going to be launching something for little ones, because although they're not going to be doing so much gardening as such, we can do lots of nature-based play. So my idea is that to have a more like a play-based learning that's nature outside. So they will all be launching in probably March sort of time, depending on weather. I mean, if it's still snowing, then no.
That is true. That is true. Whereabouts are you based then?
So I'm Warden Hill, so North Luton. So that's my area, but I do stuff all over. So my community garden stuff is like Limbury area. But I've done lots of workshops. So I did some at Stockwood in the summer, and I did some at the library in Luton Library with the half camps in the summer. So just wherever anyone needs me, I will go.
So what are the first things that you sort of teach people how to grow?
Well, it depends. I think it depends on the commitment people want to give. So I always say to people, choose 3 things. That's it. Just choose 3 things, because I think that what it is for a lot of people, they get very daunted when they think, there's this world of fruit and veg out there. So I'm like, choose 3 things that you want to eat as a family. But the easy things, I would always say things like lettuce, like leafy greens, very easy. Radish, but I mean, how many children like radish? So
I don't even like radish, not that at all.
Strawberries are really easy. So I always say, a pot of strawberries, you don't need a big space for strawberries. You can have a nice pot of strawberries and you'll get a lot of strawberries from them. Tomatoes always good, although again, that is slightly dependent on weather. Like if we have a really good summer, like we obviously had a really hot summer last summer, they did amazing. So it kind of depends. And if you've got space, I always say potatoes are great because they're so easy and kids love to dig them up. It's like just digging and then they find all the potatoes. So they would be my top grows.
Nice.
If you've got more space, then obviously you can go wild.
So so if you were going to grow strawberries, how long would you have to wait before it's too cold now? It would be too cold
you wouldn't get any now. So that's the thing. Obviously, all this food is seasonal. So strawberries are a summer fruit.
So what time would you plant those?
So you can buy, so they're not as seeds, you buy them as little bare root, basically little plants. So you wouldn't plant them now, but you could have planted some in the autumn, but the likelihood now, you'll wait till spring. If you go to a supermarket, no, not a supermarket, a garden centre, you'll find them and then you can plant them. And then once you've grown strawberries one time, what they do is they'll have your strawberry plant and they send out something called runners, which are like mini strawberry plants. And I don't want to throw too many terms, but
I think it's really interesting.
You can propagate those, which means propagation is basically the mother plant is sending out a baby plant, and you basically kind of put a little pot underneath that plant and it will root down. And so then you can cut it off from its mum plant and then you'll get a new plant. And you can basically continuously do that with strawberry plants. So if you bought 3 strawberry plants in your first year, it will send off runners and you can just like multiply.
So if you keep those plants, would you need to take them inside over the winter?
No, they'll stay outside. Mine they just sort of die back and then they just sit there and wait.
Dormant.
Exactly.
Having a big sleep.
So the winter doesn't kill them off?
No. Some plants you do have to. So say I've got an olive tree, and obviously it's not really made for this weather. So I do take that into my greenhouse.
I've got an olive tree in my garden. It's enormous.
Well, if it's big,
it's 20 feet high.
If it's established,
it was about this high when I put it in. So we're literally going back 20 years ago.
Wow,
it's done okay.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I think when plants, because I had a fig tree when it was a baby, and I used to like wrap it.
The thing is, though, we never get
olives.
Because there's I don't think there's nothing around to pollinate it.
No, and also I just don't think we probably have quite long enough of a warm season. It's the length of the warmth. We just, by the time it probably will get to the stage, it's getting cold, right? And then it's too late. But yeah, my fig tree I used to wrap when it was little, and now it's established. It doesn't need it, and it produces so many figs.
That's amazing.
I know, I love it.
Is it? Because figs, I can't bring myself to eat figs because of the wasp thing.
Right.
Oh, you don't know about it? Can you explain it? Because I will probably do a butcher job of it.
So, for pollination purposes, the wasps fly between the figs, but they fly in and then the figs, they basically disintegrate. So basically everyone says you're basically eating a dead wasp, but there's a wasp in there.
Oh, the wasp stays inside.
Yeah, stays inside and sort of.
That's all right.
It gets eaten by
it. No, I can't
That's
do it.
That's more protein.
Yeah, more protein.
Bit of extra protein for you.
Because I see so many great recipes.
I taught science for 30 years. I didn't know that.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know
You've
that.
learned something new. We always learn.
The thing you said about runners, asexual reproduction.
Yeah.
I said, I was familiar with that. I didn't say anything, but I used to teach that.
Okay.
But I had no idea about that with how figs reproduce.
Yeah, that is. I love that we've gone off such a tangent.
My brother-in-law has figs in his garden. He got lovely figs every year.
Oh.
And then you can just eat them and think there are wasps in there.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
I don't know why it bothers me.
I think it bothers a lot of people. I don't think it's unusual.
I think it's just because it's like the whole wasp thing. I've been stung quite a few times. I don't know why they have such beef with me, but they do. So what is?
This way you're getting revenge. You're eating one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, maybe I should eat more figs. Maybe I should eat more
figs. You're eating figs every day now.
I'm eating you all now. I mean, like we say this, but realistically, wasps are needed for the ecosystem.
Because we wouldn't have the figs.
Yeah, we wouldn't have the figs, but also like
many other things.
Like wasps, like you say what you like, but they are needed because they wouldn't exist otherwise. Like no animal exists out there because it's all needed for an ecosystem.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that they're one of the most important pollinators.
I know. But they also
people often think, it's only bees, but because it's butterflies, all massive species of butterflies, wasps, that all.
They're just also
they're all busy bees.
Yeah,
they all do the same thing.
They're the nastiest of the creatures out there, though. Beg to differ, but yeah. So what kind of themes are you looking at for your story gardens?
That's a good question. I don't know yet, because basically I've kind of got this funding and my plan is to use the money I'm taking 2 courses actually in the new year, which is one is a soundscaping course and one is an ethnography. So more about how we record memories and then maybe present them in a kind of a performative way.
Okay.
So I think it will really depend on who I'm working with and the space I'm working in. As I said, I used to kind of write more like stories myself. So it'd be like plays and then people would feed in. So whether it becomes something like that or it becomes more like an archive of a space, like a history, like a living history, or whether it becomes more of a soundscape, so you're listening to other kind of environmental sounds. I don't know. I think that's kind of why I'm doing the research. This was more like a research, so I can trial some stuff, work with different people, see where it takes me. And it might be a mixture of all of it, or it might go one way or the other. So I hope that it connects with nature in some way and our experiences of place. So maybe people's experiences of home, whether that be here or from another country. I don't know yet, but I hope that I've always been interested in idea of placemaking and how we connect to the places that we live in or move through. So I think it will be related to that in some way, but who knows how.
No, I think it's really interesting. I didn't know that you were kind of using the money to do that. Like, is there anything, like, are you excited to learn about these things? Is it something that kind of drew on to?
Yeah, so I've got, like I said before, I used to create like audio journeys and audio walks, but at the time my background was in theatre. So although I did do all the kind of like sound editing, I haven't had any kind of like formal training in it as such. I sort of just did it for a good couple of years, good 5 or 6 years. And because I'm now coming back to it, I was like, do you know what? I think that's what I want to do. I want to kind of go have some more training in soundscaping. So this is how you lay a sound, and learning how to use like Reaper, and then also kind of having a more theoretical background for the ethnography stuff, just so that then my brain can go, okay, kind of like click into that gear, if that makes sense. And then the rest of the money I'm going to be using to get some good sound recording equipment. So then I've got those. It's nice for me because I'm starting these courses in January and they'll be done by March. And March is obviously for me when everything starts to come alive in terms of working with the different families. So it's really well timed. And then from March, hopefully I can take what I've learned, take my background in theatre, take my gardening, and then make it all come together. That's my hope.
It sounds like it could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really grateful for being able to trial this out. It's just very exciting.
What would you say to someone that's like looking and thinking, I want to get into gardening? How do I find a community garden? Because they might not have the space, but like they're thinking, you know, I've heard of community gardens, but where do I find one? Yeah,
I think even if you go onto like a Luton Council website, they'll probably have like a list of all the local kind of community gardens that are available. There's lots, actually. There's a big gardening network in the town, and even like Groundworks, I think they're more up near Stopsley end of town, and Penrose. I know they do stuff with more like vulnerable adults, but there are lots of groups that work within this area. Obviously mine's quite specific because I work with children and families, but even near me there's Grassmere Community Garden, and that's just open to anyone to go along and garden. I think it's every Wednesday morning. But yeah, I think if you probably go on like the council website, there's probably all the different community gardens. And I think even in the town, because I've done some stuff with Luton in Bloom, there's even streets. So they always have an award for like the street that's kind of done the best gardening, like displays and stuff, and people come together in their streets and do it. So that's really lovely. I think there is that growing sense of community, and coming together and doing something like gardening, I think, creates that. So there's lots and lots. So yeah, I think probably on the Luton Council website, I think they reckon they'd find stuff.
Wow, lovely. Just wondering what would be the easiest way for some. So do you reckon for someone that's not got experience, do you think something like tomatoes or strawberries is a good first start, perhaps in pots or something like that?
I would say start small, like I said. So even like a pot, like I always say, if you don't have a big space, like 3 pots of something. So one with a tomato plant, some strawberries, and then I don't know, you could do some greens of some sort, some lettuce or something. Easy. Just trial that, see if you like it, see how it goes, and then you can expand from there. And I mean, the world's your oyster. Even in a small bed, like even in a small little like raised bed, you can grow so many different things, because obviously some stuff can be grown tall, like beans can climb something, and then you can grow some smaller things like the radish at the front, and then you could grow something like kale in between. So there's lots of variations. I think a lot of people, the things that I think people struggle with is things like pests, so slugs, snails, And I would always say to people, don't grow anything within the brassica family to start with, which is like your kales and your broccoli and all that, because they're heavy feeders. They need very good quality soil, and they get eaten by everything. Everything wants to eat them. So they'll be eaten by slugs and snails, and the cabbage white butterflies will lay butterfly eggs on them. You can net them, but there's just a lot more work. So I always think start with stuff which just sort of, although tomatoes are a bit fussier when it comes to watering, they like a continuous supply of water. If you've only got a pot of them, I mean, that's kind of okay. You can just water them in the morning and in the evening. So yeah, that would be my advice for new growers. And honestly, I would really recommend it, because once you get the bug for it, if you want to grow lots, the bug,
quite literally,
the literal bug.
What was the Luton Arts funding process like? Was it really difficult? Did you feel like it was accessible for a lot of people?
Oh, I thought it was really accessible, actually. I love the fact that once you'd applied, they then came and spoke to you. So I had 2 conversations with 2 different people, and just kind of went through the application a bit and sort of broke down any of the bits that maybe they wanted a bit more information on, or wanted a bit more of an understanding, and kind of a bit more information about how I was going to use the money, etc., etc. So I actually found it really accessible. It was really easy to use, and actually, I don't really have much more to say there, because honestly, it was great. I think the fact that you had the conversations with people was really helpful. So if you missed something, or they didn't quite understand something, you could then elaborate and go, oh, this is what I meant. And then they would not note that down. Yeah. So I thought it was great.
So you found them, you found them really supportive then?
Yeah, they were fantastic. Yeah, they really, really helped. And actually, since we've been announced, we've already had like one kind of big group meeting, which has been, again, really helpful. So it kind of like outlined for us, like helped us kind of think about how our journey from getting the funding to the kind of close date, because I think it's like June sort of time, like how we're going to navigate through that and stuff. So overall, it's been a really smooth process. It's been great.
And do you have support? Because obviously I know you've got quite a lot of experience in the industry and things like that, but I know some of the other people that have received Lightning funding are not as experienced. Do you feel equally supported, even though you're not a newbie?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's different when I kind of have quite a vision for what I want to achieve. So I think for me, it's not quite as daunting maybe, and I think I knew very specifically how I was going to use the money and go forward. I think the one thing that I'm now considering is how the longevity of my projects and how I continue to make work past the kind of end date of June. So I think that's more where I will kind of rely on their support a bit, like how I can take it further, like what directions I can go in. So for the actual project, for me, I find it quite sorted, if that makes sense. But I think it's like going past the project, I think, where I'll be drawing on all their expertise.
Because it sounds like a really exciting thing that you want to keep continuing and doing in other spaces as well, not just in whether it be one space or many spaces, because you don't know yourself how long it's going to be yet. They're a big kind of like a particular place you really want this to happen.
Do you know, I'm not sure, but I was actually thinking on the way here. So there's an area that I think it's like the places that you really love. So near me, if you know near Limbury, I really love the walk, the River Lee walk.
That's because I live in Leegrave. So I go up that way to go, like, because I walk past McDonald's and then up the side path. We do like bike rides along there, me and the kids as well. So
I love that walk along there, and I've always been like, because I used to create more like audio walks, audio journeys. I was like, I just feel like that would be such a lovely environment to create something where people, because it's such a used path, like you say, people cycling and walking, and it's really beautiful, and the colours of the seasons are really amazing. And I always think there's so much. I'm not an expert on the River Lee, but I've been learning some more about it, and it's actually like a unique nature space. And I think to kind of understand that and learn more about the people that live there and the history of it, and so I was like, I think I'd love to create something there. So that's kind of a little dream, and it's really close to me, so I'm like, bonus.
I was going to say, well, you've already had this dream for a couple of years and it's starting to come true, so no doubt other ones will come true too, inshallah. Is there any kind of final things you wanted to say to anyone that's perhaps thinking, in the art scene, or even not in the art scene, but thinking I want to create something? What would your advice be?
That is a good question. I would say find something that you're interested in, and then get out there and start learning about it. You don't even need to be starting to create, I'd say, to begin with. I'd say maybe like, go and experience it if you can, or if you can like read stuff or listen to stuff, or just kind of like immerse yourself in that environment that you want to be in, and then something might come of that. Does that make sense? You might like meet someone, or you might, I don't know, like something might spark something in your brain to start you on a different journey. That's what I would say with the art stuff. And with the gardening, I would say try growing lettuce. There you go.
Try growing lettuce. I really want to grow garlic, because I go through so much garlic. It's a problem almost in my house about how much garlic we go through. So yeah, thank you so much, Laura, for taking the time to come in talk about this project. It sounds amazing. So I will be keeping the viewers updated on when and where they can find what you're doing, because it sounds really exciting.
And folks, I'm just going to remind you of that web address. It's www.younggrowersclub.co.uk. younggrowersclub.co.uk.
And we'll be tagging in the social media post. We'll be tagging their social medias as well, so you'll be able to find them on there too. But yeah, thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for taking the time to meet you.
Thank you.
So that's all for the News and Culture show this week. But join us again next week, where we have all the latest news from Luton, as well as arts, culture and events. You can go out and have fun. But until then, assalamu alaikum.